Welcome, Laura. She is a money coach and she has been in Australia for 14 years. And prior to coaching business, she was a financial advisor. So she knows a lot about numbers and money and our relationship with money. And I'm very interested in getting to hear her story. I have met Laura a couple of months ago this year, and I have seen an amazing growth in her confidence and the way she communicates. And I would love her also to share a little bit of that process with us. So welcome, Laura.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here, Solange. I help people having a healthier relationship with money. I help people understanding what are those patterns, beliefs, and emotions that they have learned from their parents or carers and help them transform them into something that is more aligned with the life they want to build. I am a money coach, as you said. I am Colombian and I moved here 14 years ago. I guess a little bit about my story. I came here to study English, loved it, and been in Brisbane since. I then started my career in financial planning. I became a financial advisor. And I guess I also got to money coaching as part of my personal journey. But talking to people about money every day, I realized how we sometimes make decisions around money that are not really aligned with our goals, or there are a lot of emotions when making those decisions and setting up those goals. As a financial advisor, we focused a lot on the strategy, which is very, very important, but not really on the why we do what we do and understanding where those emotions and feelings come from and why we behave the way we behave. So yeah, as part of my personal journey, also money coaching arrived to my life. And I'm very passionate about it because it's that bridge between everyday life and helping people build their wealth and the life they want when it comes to money, but from another perspective that is not necessarily about the numbers. I guess I've talked to a lot of people that were like amazing professionals making a lot of money, but yet all those emotions and patterns were getting in their way to get to where they wanted to be.
That's really interesting. And thank you for sharing about that because we think like once you have the money, you no longer worry, right? And that's not true. And that's because we all have a relationship with money. And can you please tell us more about what this relationship can look like and what's a good relationship with money?
Yeah, as I mentioned, like I saw a lot of people like having more income. Sometimes we believe if I have this car or if I have more income, if I have this pay rise, then I'll be happy or my problems will be gone. But I saw it over and over again how they will get the pay rise, they will have more money for, like pay rise or investments, whatever it is. But then because you keep making the same decisions from an unconscious level, then you bring yourself to the same point. So let's say if you believe that money makes you greedy or rich people is greedy, then your brain unconsciously will find ways for you to get rid of that money. And there is the beauty about this is that there is a big part of that is about the education, about money and finances. Like that's very general and broad that we don't really learn at home sometimes, most of the time. But it's also like in my personal experience, my mom, for example, is very risk adverse. And I have the education. I studied finance. I work in financial planning for a very long time, right? And I knew that in theory, I needed to take more risk when making an investment so that I could get to those goals that I wanted. I could achieve those goals. But my body, because I saw my mom being a little bit risk adverse, my body will not respond well. It felt very uncomfortable for me to make those decisions, even though I knew what I needed to do. I knew I needed to take the risk and technically I'll do it, but I didn't feel comfortable until I was able to point it, name it, and understand where that feeling came from. So I then can have the tools to regulate my nervous system, identify it and be like, no, I can do this from a place of confidence and empowerment. And I feel comfortable. My body feels okay.
It's very interesting because I have a similar approach in the communication coaching. I approach communication in a way that your body feels safe to communicate because I see that sometimes we overthink things and we are very critical with ourselves. And when we regulate our nervous system is when we allow ourselves to be authentic and we feel okay with the uncertainty, with creating our speech in the moment, with improvising. So I wanted to ask, in your experience, did you apply those nervous system regulation techniques to other situations? For example, when migrating to Australia or when becoming a more confident speaker?
Yeah, 100%. Like, I guess not necessarily when I moved to Australia because it was 14 years ago. And I guess I didn't have the awareness on a lot of things. But let's say today, when I have to present, when I have to do any of these things and talking and even being here, I know I have to ground myself. I need to feel it in my body. Even when I use certain words, explaining what I do or communicating to other people, I need to feel that it's a word that feels genuine and comfortable with me. Like, like when you talking to people or when you're preparing for a pitch or a presentation, and there is all these different ways of communicating that sometimes don't feel very genuine. Like, this is not a word that feels aligned with me. And I would much rather say the word that feels like me so that I don't feel like my pitch or what I'm saying gets stuck because it felt, oh, this is not me. This is me trying to pretend being this other person.
I completely agree. And alignment is one of the main values to be coherent. And our body will tell if we are not coherent,
Mhm.
exactly how we look, how we move. And that's why I say communication goes beyond words, because we may be saying one thing, but our body will show how we actually feel. And I wanted to ask, what challenges did you find along the way and how much have you grown?
Challenges a lot. I guess migrating on itself is a big challenge. And I believe that a lot of people in this community are also migrants. Yeah, understand, like from that perspective, moving to another country was like one of the biggest challenges, I guess, throughout this time. But also when I started my career, the challenge at some stage was finding that confidence to know that I can actually go and find a job in finance. Because I came here as a student, I was working in hospitality, I was doing all things, and finding that confidence within myself to say, yes, I can go and do that. And if there is something I don't know, I can learn it because I want to learn it. I guess I push myself to do it, right? Like, it was like, I want to do this, so I'm gonna go for it. It was a big learning journey because I studied finance in Colombia. So starting my career in finance here meant that I need to learn a whole new system from scratch in a language that wasn't mine. So that was challenging, but I learned to kind of back up myself. And I'm also grateful that I have a lot of good mentors and managers and people around me supporting me. I guess that is also a point when I started building my business that it comes with different challenges, understanding how you communicate with your business, understand what do you do, the strategies.
And I'm a witness of you stepping out of your comfort zone. I could see that ambition in you and that willingness to grow. So, first, I feel honored to have been part of your journey. And I wanted to ask, what transformation did you see in yourself during that time and maybe in others who were walking the process with you?
In myself, like, only going from a full-time job to building your business is a huge difference or a huge step, but also being more visible is something that has been a big change for me. Like, I wasn't the person that was posting on social media or hosting events. I wasn't doing that. So being visible has been one of those big things that has changed a lot for me for the last year or so since I started my business. Also around the money, as for me to become a certified money coach, I needed to go through the process myself. I see now like how I see money in different ways. I feel way more calm. I'm not as stressed. I'm more trusting in the process. I feel more grounded. I feel more comfortable and confident from an emotional and alignment perspective. But also with the people I help, I see how they also have built that confidence, how they have been able to identify what they learned from their parents and how that is reflected in their lives today. So as same as I said, like it felt reflected in my life when I was making investments for other people, comes in different shapes and forms. I've helped them be more organized, and sometimes nothing wrong with, like sometimes it's also going for that pay rise, but also this is where I am today and how do I make this work for me so that I can achieve what I want to achieve and make it organized and conscious, feel grounded. Know that I want this, and then, but what you're doing for that is achievable or no, how long it's going to take. Having a plan and feeling like, oh, okay, this is what I'm going to do, and this is how long it's going to take me, and this is what I want to achieve, helping them get there. It's been beautiful.
That's lovely. And I'm sure that many people will benefit from going through that process. And I want to encourage them to get in touch with Laura, and I will leave her contact details in the description of the podcast. And before we say goodbye, I would like you to think of someone who is where you were maybe 10 years ago, where you did not know what you know today. What's the most important thing that they should know to be able to move forward?
I think first, back up yourself. Like, be confident. And if you don't know something, go and find information. It's out there. I think we all have all this big power within ourselves, and we need to be confident and back up ourselves. And then if I don't know something, then go and find the tools that I believe I need to go and get that I want. Go for it. If you have an opportunity, take it. If you've been looking for something, just find the ways to get there. Like, I guess for me, and thank you because you've been a big part of all my process. When I first met you, I was like, well, I want to run an event and I feel uncomfortable talking in front of people, and I don't have a community and I don't know how I'm going to do this. And then working with you on the public speaking and doing the workshops gave me that confidence to actually go and do it. So I went and did it, and I felt more comfortable because I was like, okay, I need this, and Solange provides this tool that's what I feel I'm missing. So I'm going to go and get it, and then I can go and achieve the thing that I want. So yeah, sometimes you just need to back up yourself, and sometimes also we're never going to be ready. So go for it.
I definitely agree, and thank you for your kind words and for being an example of being able to take action, and just by taking action, learning along the way. And that's how you realize what else you need to learn, not just because we don't think we're enough, but because we realize from experience that we can be better. And just building ourselves and our identities from that place of empowerment, I think makes the whole difference. So thank you for being a role model for other women who are daring to step out of their comfort zones. Thank you for sharing your story. And I very much look forward to seeing you continue growing. I think what you're doing is really needed in our community, and that is going to change and impact many lives.
Thank you. And thanks for having me here.